Hey everybody, we're about to start. So welcome to the next installment of our monthly meetup. Thank you all for coming. Excited to have you all here. Once again, reminder, I don't know, Alex, have we added anything to the official meetup page? But
yeah,
just
it's on there.
FYI, we have a big meetup happy hour for South by Southwest. It's going to be in the big room. We're going to have, as we said last time, startup demos, bands, food, tell your friends, tell family, friends, coworkers. We want it to be a big event. We're expecting a good amount of foot traffic just from Capital Factory, but we want like our people in there as well. So keep it on your calendars, March 18th in the big room over there. And tonight we have a startup presenting. This is Cameron from Jamfeed, and I'm just going to turn it over to him. So over to you, Cameron.
Awesome, thanks, man. How are y'all doing tonight? Give me one second. See if this thing is working. I was doing a little thing at UT last weekend, and the guys told me they don't have an HDMI cord for a presentation. And I was like, the entire business school at UT doesn't have an HDMI cord? All right, hold on.
I'm sure one of the people in the audience probably has one.
It's trying to get there. There we go. All right, so Jamfeed is a music news aggregation app, and the goal is you can follow artists, bands, festivals, and we use breaking news stories through mobile push notifications to keep you up to date with everything music. So we launched iOS back in late October, Android next week, one more bug hopefully, and then we're gearing up for a big launch at South by Southwest. But our goal is to help fans stay up to date on all their music through mobile. So rather than following social networks and email blasts, and then giving artists a platform to essentially text message their fans on any big news story. So what you're looking at here is a home screen. So we pull all the top news stories all across music, and all we're doing here for the most part is aggregating stories from Billboard, Rolling Stone, news companies, blog companies. We pull from hundreds of sites, and all you can see here is you're in Jamfeed reading a Consequence of Sound article. And so this today, Firefly Music Festival released their lineup. Anybody following Firefly gets a push notification directly to their phone, can swipe in and buy the tickets directly within the app. So we also have a custom news feed. So the whole point here is customization. You get all the news fed to you of what you're interested in, and you drown out all the stuff that you don't want. So you don't get Justin Bieber news if you don't want Justin Bieber news. So all of this is customized to me and my following, and as you can see, we just reference all the different articles here from Billboard, jambands.com, etc. Each artist then has their own news feed, so I can click on Kendrick Lamar. I've got articles here. I've got YouTube videos embedded right in. We have an API partnership with Spotify, so we're able to pull all his top songs on, and actually you can click on individual albums, etc. And then last but not least, we have concerts. So essentially, what we recommended as the top 3 things you would look for in a band, the things we're adding this year will be a whole feed for videos, as well as a whole feed for merchandise. So we've essentially created a mobile app for these artists without them having to have their own native thing. So some artists do actually have their own apps. Like Willie Nelson had his own app for a while, but the problem is if you're not just like gung-ho Willie Nelson, you don't find any value for that app. So ours is customized to you. I would probably have a Willie app. He's pretty awesome. So we give you ways to discover here. So based on who you currently like, we provide you with recommendations. We've actually got a lot of design updates for this page that'll make it a lot more intuitive than just being able to get recommended random things. But it's a good way to discover new things. You can just double click and immediately be following that artist. We have a management tab. It's basically just to say, hey, I want to follow this band and get push notifications from them, or I don't. You can come in and just edit, take it on or off. And then we also, like I mentioned, we have festival pages. So the only app out there as far as we've seen that allow you to curate both your favorite artist bands and festivals into one place. So ACL, for example, you can come in here and get news stories. So right after the ACL festival, they released their early bird tickets, right? For the next year, the fastest tickets that get sold. We were able to show Charlie down at C3, one of the guys who runs it, a push notification to Jamfeed 25 minutes before their email hit my inbox. The main medium is mode of exchange is a lot quicker through push notifications. And we always ask people, what are you going to check first, your phone or your email? Probably your phone. And when you're looking at a window of like 10 to 20 minutes of those tickets being gone, it makes a big difference. So we also, with festivals, a big problem we're solving is festivals have these apps, right? Everyone goes to ACL, downloads the ACL app. You build your custom schedule on it, and then the festival ends, and you delete it, right? Even the guys who work at C3 delete it, which is funny. But there's just no value to the user. They don't see any reason why I should hold on to this app after the festival. We give the festival a way to communicate with their fans 365 days a year. So for follow-up merch sales, for lineup announcements, ticket releases, you name it, and then you can click on lineup right here, and we just take you to C3's mobile website, aclfest.com, and boom, I'm looking at the festival right there. The last thing we do here is we pull all local shows. So if you're just looking for what to do in Austin, you can look at all the different stuff going on. Pete Yorn's playing tonight at the Parish. And then I can scroll over to my artists and the people that I'm actually following. I can see that Earfunk and Zuma are coming this weekend, which y'all should definitely go to if you haven't seen them. And then, like I said, we use push notifications for breaking news. So any big news story for an artist would be song, video, album release, tour announcements, merch sales, anything they want to let you know. They send a push notification. For festivals, it's lineup releases, tickets, etc. We store all those pushes, so in case you've had a long day, you can't get around to them. So recently we've got all the stories about Drake and his new release, and I can just go back and basically catch up on all my favorite music. So also we allow you to, we add artists every single day. Like I was out, just saw a new band recently, really awesome. We didn't have them in the app. Came in here, entered it, sent it. In 30 minutes, we can have a full page connected with concerts, Spotify, you name it. So it's great. We built the technology really easy to add stuff in. And the reality was we built this as music fans. My brother and I, about a year and a half ago, saw this model being used, aggregated news in sports, very successful company. And we said, why isn't this rolled into music? Then as we started building this thing, we realized most artists needed a platform like this. So we actually built this from the fan side, saying, hey, I need a way to keep up to date because I like 500 bands and I don't have a job, I can't go out and do all these things. But really quickly when we started talking to artists, we realized this was a huge pain point for them. Facebook, are y'all familiar with organic reach on Facebook? Anybody? Yeah, it's Facebook's new way of screwing you over and making you pay a lot of money. They call it organic reach though. So these artists, recently I was on the phone with the lady who manages Miley Cyrus, Britney Spears, Taylor Swift social media. Guess how much it could cost for one of those artists, big social media followings, to get one post to all their fans?
$1 million.
Couple $1 million. Yeah. One post. And then they got to get on Facebook. That's the real problem. Is what happens if you post that and half those people don't even get on Facebook? You've now paid a shitload of money to try to drive engagement. So it's greedy by Facebook. It's great for us, so we're happy that they're doing it. They're driving away their biggest fan base on Facebook. I mean, look at 7 or 8 of the top 10 people are musicians, and they're 50 million plus following. So right now, we aggregate all this content ourselves. We've got technology and human curation kind of going on at the same time. Our goal, we're actually starting to build probably at the beginning of March, to actually build a platform for artists to control their own content. So they'll be able to license it from us. They'll be able to control push notifications, send the text, get the analytics, see how they're actively engaging with fans, which is great because on mobile, you can track everything. We can track who gets pushes, who opens pushes, who listens to the videos, all this data that Facebook doesn't give them. And it's a nice clean interface that we've built for them. So all their pages are there. And all we're really doing is essentially going to be doing, we make our money through advertising, right? So just like Facebook and Twitter have all these news feeds, our ads are going to be submerged in the feeds. And we're actually going to give artists a cut. So here's someone that we've been talking to recently, is Nas, and basically, as you can see, this third news story is essentially an ad by Spotify. It's very intuitive. It's not a Google banner ad that's flashing and really obnoxious, having nothing to do with the app. And our goal is to actually give the artist a cut. We're probably going to do a 50-50 cut with them is what we're looking at. So instead of paying Facebook a shitload of money to try to engage people, Nas can get paid to just engage with people. So we found basically, we've created a new revenue stream through advertising for these small artists in Austin. They're not going to make a ton of money here, but the big name people who are literally trying to find ways to monetize their brand are now getting paid for just content. So someone like Taylor Swift, who literally is in the news like 10 times a day, it's incredible, really. I don't know how she does it, but she could have these fans that she drives here 10 times a day. Imagine the number of ad impressions you could see. So the big artists actually have a big chance of making some money here. And the great thing is if they make money, we make money. Our goal here is we actually want something, I think we've created something that actually benefits the fans and the artists at the same time. You know, I love Spotify, use it all day, every day, but I know it does not support the artist in any real way. It's a consumer product, it's great. Our deal is that an artist can essentially get paid money by announcing a free song on SoundCloud because they have an advertisement next to it, which they currently don't have that stream. So, like I said, we're getting ready for South by. We've got a couple artists on board. Android should be out next week. We've really been kind of holding off. Most of our users are here in Austin. We've got a couple in LA, New York for just some events I've been to, but we've got Gavin DeGraw is probably the biggest name. These guys that are just believing in what we're doing and blowing up social media, telling their fans to follow them on here. Because they know that they're not going to reach people on Facebook without spending a lot of money. Ideally, if they get them here, they have the potential to make money. And for us, you know, that we give them the ability to essentially text their fans. So again, our model is advertising. That's, you know, Facebook makes 70% of their money in mobile advertising. There's a big market there. Our goal is to be intuitive advertising that's geared towards you, is from what we learn about you, and also focused in music. You know, we want music brands getting in front of you rather than seeing a Home Depot ad and Jamfeed. Doesn't make much sense. But we also get affiliate revenue model from iTunes and Google for if we push you a new album and you buy the album, they give us a little cut as well as ticketing as well. So we're hoping to add merch this year. We're going to be rolling out pretty soon. We also started creating our own content. So rather than just aggregating, we've now got our own website. Eunice actually here is kind of overseeing our site. He started as an intern for us writing content, and he's a great writer. And we said, do you think there's other people that want to write? And Eunice somehow found 8 people that want to write for free. I don't know how I did it, but thank you. So yeah, we've already got people producing content for us, which is great because that's even more our own advertising rather than pushing someone to billboard.com, which we don't mind doing. But essentially we want to be able to kind of be the spot where artists go to let their fans know what's going on. So yeah, come party with us at South by Southwest. Got a couple events. Any questions? Would love to answer any questions you guys have. Yeah.
So you curate all the content, all the events, all the venues, all that. How many?
We curate all the news. All the concerts is through a partnership with Songkick. Bands in town's biggest competitor. They just API pass all their data through to us.
So how you go to local shows, right?
Yeah.
How is it for local shows? How many venues do you get?
There's probably 40 shows a night that show up.
Okay.
I mean, it's as good as we can find out there. There's a couple different options we had. They had about 10 more than every other option we looked at. Again, we're not going to say we pull every concert in Austin. That's crazy. I mean, there's stuff that was decided on this morning that's being played right now in Austin, and coffee shops and everywhere else. But if it's through any sort of ticketing company, from Ticketfly to Ticketmaster, you'll see it. Yeah.
So from the concert side, because you're pushing the news side of it, but then are you able to send push notifications for concerts? Because that's like Songkick and bands in town don't let you compete.
No, so we don't send push notifications for Songkick. Well, actually, we already are working with Frontgate Tickets and Ticketmaster to eliminate Songkick. So right now they provide us data for free that we wanted in the app for our fans, and they'll eventually be competitors.
And how are you guys finding the push notification enablement? Because you're saying that's the only means you guys communicate, and is there a percentage of users that have turned
Half of our users have enabled push notifications. And the main reason is we learned that if you just show push notifications to people, the app will go, like right when you download the app, me and nobody else wants to turn those on because you don't want to get spam. So we have our own native way that we describe what we're doing. And if they say no to that, we never even show them Apple, and we can follow up again and say, hey, this app is used for push notifications, let us explain how we do it. And since we released that update, we've had a lot more engagement. So ideally we can, as long as we can remind you that, hey, you should turn pushes on, this is how this app works, our goal is to get more engagement through that.
Can you buy concert tickets through the app?
Yep. Songkick just handles everything.
Okay.
So essentially, like, if you're, just to give you an example, we're just pulling them up in a mobile web view, so you're still in Jamfeed, but you're just going to songkick.com. Buy tickets, right? Cool. Yeah.
When did you guys start, and how did you go about getting your first set of customers?
So we launched a beta at South by Southwest last year. this homepage pretty much it. We just wanted to prove we can aggregate news and use push notifications. We picked up some users there, got a bunch of feedback, and then basically went out, raised money, and we released this. So we've been at it for about a year now, from start. So we actually filed our patent and everything back last January, filed the provisional, and we just filed the utility again before the year ran out. And then Android should be coming out next week.
Awesome. Anything else?
Like speaking about the advertising, I saw like how you guys showed a Spotify advertisement in there. What other type of advertisements do you think would be beneficial? Or like actually, how would like the deals be structured? Would it be like click-through rates of the advertisements?
Well, we're going to be doing both. So let me give you an example. So let's answer your question. I'll show you an example. So we'll do a lot of impression-based stuff that companies want to get their eyes and their brands in front of these specific artists or in front of music fans in general. But then we can we can go to Stubbs and say, hey, do you want to advertise a show? And we can promote it to the artists that people are following or the ones that are similar to that artist. We can do the same thing with like an events company like C3 Presents who's booking and putting on these shows. Our goal is to make it as targeted and as customized to you as we can. So we can send you local recommendations because you're in Austin, Texas from using your locational services. But we kind of have, I think impression-based will be the home front. Let me see. So this is something we're working on for like South by Southwest with Do 512 is giving them this whole sponsored by. So that's our loading screen. So every time someone opens the app, they see Do 512's logo, and then Do 512 can run an ad. And we're also looking at giving them push notifications because Do 512 is incredible for South by Southwest. And we're going to give them basically a mobile way to push stuff out to people for like the exclusive South by stuff. The other stuff would be more pay-per-click stuff. If they're selling products, like if we go approach Beats or Sonos that are running promotions and trying to sell product, they're going to want pay-per-click type of stuff and see actual sales get made. So I think the great thing is we could say, hey, why don't you sell Beats on Dr. Dre, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar's pages where your fans are. So we can get really specific.
Yeah. Are you interested at all about moving this at some point out of music? So like, could you do, a celebrity could sign up and say, so-and-so is going to be on Jimmy Fallon tonight or something like that?
So we have we've patented the technology of what we're doing, or we have applied for a patent, I should say, 2 years from now. But to do it across everything, not just music. I think celebrity is a good market. We've seen it in the sports market, so we know that it's there and it works in that sense, but I think celebrities would probably be we've talked about games too. I don't know exactly how that would work, but I think there's some model in there.
Anybody? Last question?
Yeah.
How big is your team? And you said that the artists can see the analytics. What does it look? What does the artist have?
They can't yet. So we're building that platform out right now to where they can upload content themselves, they can send the pushes themselves, and they can get analytics on all the stuff that we basically provide monthly reports. Awesome company called Localytics. If y'all have anything to do with mobile analytics, they monitor everything and supply the push notifications and integrate it all. It's really cool. It's like Google, but a little bit better. Sorry, I got a tangent. What was your question?
How big is your team?
We have 4 full-time right now. Me, Eunice, and 2 content managers that are doing all the content and uploading and tagging to artists all day, every day. We have a CTO, but he's not full-time on a mutual agreement. He's development is really cyclical, and it didn't make sense to pay him a full-time salary for what he deserves to get paid. So he's still on contract labor, which is nice. And then we've got 6 interns now. We just went intern crazy in the last 2 months, but they're awesome. They're all young at UT. They're giving us a lot of like grassroots marketing at the university and doing all our social media stuff. And then 8 freelance writers that are just hoping for a good opportunity, I guess.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank y'all very much.
Awesome. Well, thanks again to Cameron. That was awesome. Cameron's going to be one of the companies that's going to be showcased during our happy hour next month. So looking forward to seeing him again and seeing what other people have to say. So now we usually do this. We're going to move on to a group activity after, but we like to go around and introduce ourselves to the whole group because it's supposed to be a collaborative thing. Go group. So if you want to just go quickly say something about yourself and something that you can bring to the group, we'll go around the room. So my name is Luis, founder of the group. I work with Alex on Music Meets Video. That's our music startup. I'll have him describe it. Background is in finance, business valuation and M&A, and I'm currently working at a local startup firm.
Hello, I'm Alex Mitchell. I work with Luis on Music Meets Video. We are a music contest website and artist promotional site. So we host contests and music contests and cover contests with cash prizes. Right now we're in the middle of our Best of ATX contest, which is basically asking artists in Austin to upload their music video and compete for some pretty awesome Austin-based prizes. My background is in design and video, and been working on Music Meets Video for about 1.5 years now, and I do freelance design. If any of y'all have any questions about getting your website or app started up.
My name is Jerome Howard. I'm working on a startup called Fenzer.com, and it's pretty much a music distribution site with a powerful analytics background, so you can consider it as SoundCloud on steroids. We were selected as one of the South by Southwest Startup 2014 companies last year, so we just started our beta this January, so we're just growing, I guess. Background, electrical engineer from Georgia Tech. I was a DJ for a while, for about 10 years. So I worked with everybody from Nicki Minaj, T.I., Bun B, you name it. I probably DJed with them for a while. Right now I'm in oil and gas, trying to transition. Don't like being stuck in the cubicle. Just drove up from Houston and trying to get into the tech scene here in Austin.
What was the name of your startup again?
Fenzer. P-H-E-N-Z-R. It's Fenzer.com. That's me in a nutshell.
Cool. My name's Jeff Boulette. I'm actually coming down from Boston, looking to move to Austin. I'm a senior front-end dev, looking to get into the music tech scene. I currently work at Hill Holiday, which is a big ad agency up there. We're about 1,000. And I work, I'm the tech lead for the innovation technology department there. So.
Andy Hillary. I run a startup, music startup, a little similar to what Jamfeed does, plus I consult for a video technology company that's like Eventbrite for video. So if you want to sell live streaming or on demand, they're the front end platform. I've got a lot of connections in New York. I just moved down from there in the music scene and in the ad scene. I had most of my careers in ad sales and building and monetizing websites and stuff like that. So I can kind of help with a lot of different connections.
Robert Smith, keyboard player, producer, old school. That's it.
Love it.
Thomas Freeman. I just moved from Charleston, South Carolina 2 weeks ago. I'm originally in artist management, but now I'm focusing in band promotion and marketing. I moved without a job, but I don't regret it at all. It's been an awesome 2 weeks getting to know people, and I'm for hire, shameless self-promotion.
Kevin Lestarge, working with Toy right now, helping these guys, interactive web design in the EDM space. I'm actually in the sales side, getting the word out there, background in sound engineering and sound design.
Yeah, Tim from Toy, like Kevin was saying, interactive web design, based out of San Francisco, to a lot of the EDM space, more in like project management side of things, backgrounds in film.
Nate Ryan, also with Toy. I'll spare you the details. I do design. And yeah, we're opening our office here. I've been here for about a month. My background is in just about every side of design, you know, whether it's interactive print or, you know, interior, exterior design. So yeah, we're opening our office here and just looking to get plugged in.
Hey, I'm George Perry. I feel like I'm the old timer of the group. I've been in Austin all of 3 years now. So, you know, I guess I'm the local at this point. I'm work mostly in the sports space. I have a couple startups in different aspects of sports. One of them is a sports lifestyle media platform called Lane 9 that we just launched last month. An aspect of it being music and how we can relate to sports fans through music, lifestyle, culture, that sort of thing, which is what brings me here. And that's going to grow into a broader sports entertainment company, hopefully towards the middle of next year.
My name is Mitch Chiat. I'm working on a project that can automatically enhance iPhone videos taken at concerts with audio from the soundboard to make them sound really good. That's pretty crazy. I'm a college freshman. It's kind of my foray into the music and tech and business, whatever world. So if you need college guys to do stuff, I probably know somebody. Yes, interns.
I'm Jill Priscilla. I'm in marketing. I work for an e-commerce software platform right now, but I'm ready to get back into music tech. Before working at my current company, I was working on Pandora for Business. I was doing marketing and product management, and before that I was working with Mog, who was bought out by Beats and Apple, so streaming music, which I really loved. I'd love to get back into that kind of thing, so any opportunities, I'm interested.
Hi, my name is Caroline Tarpey. I'm also new to Austin. I just moved here from DC 2 weeks ago. Transitioning from the public sector with a background in project management and analysis, looking to get involved in fitness-focused startups, a weightlifter and a hiker. But I'm here because I'm really passionate about proven hip hop of all things, and I was just curious kind of what people are doing in the music tech intersection in Austin.
Typical awful I ran into Lucas and Alex last week, and they told me about this. I've always been kind of a music buff, and thought it would be cool to work on some sort of cool technology in the music business. I'm currently rolling out of a local startup, which is going through an acquisition event. So I'm just kind of out, searching about, seeing what's going on in the industry, and meeting folks and doing some networking. My background's in business development, sales, lots of experience with startups and analyzing business plans from accelerator and VC type of view as well.
I think I might be the longest here. 27 years in Austin. There you go. Who else?
25.
I'm Dave Reed. Got a background in software project management, especially for large corporate enterprise software. That's what I do in my day job, but I'm looking at changing up and getting out into startups in the music area. Specifically around collaborations between music performers and the people who put on music, like production crew, stage crew. That's kind of where I'm looking at stuff right now. And I've actually got a prototype iPhone app that I'm starting to give out to some friends right now and start testing.
My name is Danny Soto. I've been here for about a year now, still new to Austin. I have an idea for an online platform for musicians to meet each other. I want to call it like Build a Band or something like that. And basically people get together and can start a band by having like user profiles on a website. And that's basically what I'm here for, to meet anybody who'd be interested to collaborate. And other than that, my background is in film. And yeah.
My name is Eunice Church. As Cameron mentioned, I'm one of the 4 full-time members of Jamfeed. I handle all writing and editing for our original content. So, I don't handle all the writing, but I do all the editing. And so right now my focus is to get a team of writers on board at Jamfeed that can handle the entire spectrum of all genres of music. I want creative writers. I still feel like there's something to be said about the declining quality of writing in online journalism, period. So that's basically my goal, is to just bring a good staff of people around Jamfeed and keep cranking out creative articles. So if you like hip hop, you should read my shit.
Yes, you should.
And if you like any type of music, which it would be weird if anybody didn't, you should read Jamfeed's shit in general. So right now, we don't have any type of way to get from the app that Cameron just showed you to specifically Jamfeed content. We're working on that. but you can access the website from a desktop or laptop, jamfeed.com/news.
Hello, my name is Fernando. I'm a user researcher at UT Austin. My background was quite scattered. I'm civil engineering, project management, and psychology. And yeah, I'm really interested in the music industry as a user researcher, not as a civil engineer. I'm really interested also in the startup environment. Incidentally, I was a DJ at the local UT station, KVRX. Oh, it's fantastic. It's great. I love that station. So yeah, it's like I've been for 6.5 years. So.
I'm Mike Hoganettle. I'm a software engineer by day, noise tinkerer by night. I enjoy, looking for like maybe some pro audio kind of like plugin support, or maybe moving that toward the browser with newer technologies like web audio and stuff like that. So yeah, I've always been passionate about all things sound and music, and looking to stay plugged in.
I'm Mario Hernandez. My background is in media. I used to be a producer for ABC News in New York. Did that for about 7 years. Moved back to Austin to go back to school. I actually have an early stage ed tech startup called Edible, but I'm here because I love music. I'm an old school vinyl DJ, hip hop junkie. I just like being around people.
Eddie Solis, I just moved here from Nashville, Tennessee about 6 months ago. I work for a software startup currently out of Nashville. We help artists build very simple press kits. Charge them very little money. They can build up an online presence, very simple web page in minutes. Actually, I moved here mainly to kickstart my music project, as surprising as that sounds. Moved away from Nashville. But our startup recently we're in the process of getting acquired, so I'm probably gonna start looking for a new opportunity. So in the meantime, I've been kind of learning web development, and I came up with this concept where it's kind of like an online community specific for the music industry. So it's an exclusive community where anybody can like post articles and like comment on them, but only people that get access to the community. So I thought I'd come here and just kind of share that concept and see if you guys wanted to experiment with that. I don't really see like a way to make money. It was just kind of an idea to maybe just kind of build a tighter community. Maybe everybody can just kind of get in on it and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
I'm Adam Mandel. I'm a lawyer. I represent startups in the music scene and also bands and solo musicians and publishers and labels. They do intellectual property for the most part when it comes to startups. So if anybody has any questions on that, I'm happy to help. Generally, background is in banjo playing, I guess.
Sure. My name is Brandon Johnson. I work for a company called Keystoke. We're located right here off of East 5th Street. What we do at Keystoke, we build mobile apps. So if anybody's in need of a mobile app or web development, I'm here at your service. So it's Brandon at Keystoke.com. Just for those who know.
My name is Anthony Erickson. I run a company based out of Austin here called Eye in the Sky Collective. We're a e-commerce solution combined with a label services resource for artists, kind of connecting the dots of where artists make money and where they spend it, and where they connect with the team and resources they need to operate their band business. So we were actually one of the first presenters here at the Music Meets Tech meetup here, and big thanks to Alex and Louise for keeping this going and engaging this community. So we're actually on the hunt for front-end web developers to join the team as well. So if anyone wants to continue that discussion, come say hey.
My name is Ross Brown. I'm originally from Montana, but I've been here for about 2.5 years. I'm mainly a fiddle player, music producer. I'm getting in the electronic world. But I also have a startup called Invest in Songs. We actually competed in the startup weekend just a couple weekends ago. And It's basically a startup where artists upload their music and fans purchase music. But instead of purchasing just a download, you're purchasing, sharing the publishing royalties of that song. So it's like crowdfunding a song and getting the fans paid. So we're in the early stages and we're developing right now. So if anyone's interested in anything like that, you know, hit me up.
Awesome, everybody. Okay. Well, Alex is going to present the group activity. Let's see here.
So we've done some similar things in the past, like we're going to do right now, but basically I want everyone to get into groups of 4 or 5, just people sitting around you, and we're going to go over a couple topics in the music industry. You could call them problems, but for now I would just say like start having a conversation about those specific sects. So if y'all want to go ahead and start getting into groups, and we'll just go. We have like 3 or 4 topics. I don't know how much time we'll have, but we're gonna do a walk around.
Check it out. Most friendly city, like verifiable letters. I love it. No, I mean I love it. What you just said.
No, it was hard to bring that was that the one where you presented
Alright, everyone in their groups and stuff? Everybody got a beer or water? So the first topic is artist promotion. Right now, there are hundreds of ways to promote yourself as an artist, and I kind of want you guys to think about it from the perspective of small independent artists that maybe don't have very much traction, and gigantic Lady Gaga's, Taylor Swift's, and basically think about the best ways for artists currently to promote themselves, and then maybe how to create a plan or a business around finding those best ways and monetizing those ways. So, does that make sense to everyone? We'll go for like 5 or 7 minutes, and then I'll just have like one of you from each group kind of talk about things you thought of, and just go from there. So I'll turn on some music, and y'all just go ahead. Does anyone need paper, pencils, or anything? Because we don't have those, so.
Sorry, I was meeting with the venue and stuff. Doing marketing huge ideas for like.
Well, I think the tricky part is because the Microsoft I think it's just showing that we use Facebook just going to help us and now
Just like face to face. They sell tons of merch. I saw, I don't know if you know, they were like, they played in Charleston like right before the they came and had residential show and talked to everybody. And it made me like way more interested. I checked out all their back catalog and stuff. But I had a really great time.
In a world of artists, it's so like look at artists especially in like instant download, everything's available. Not necessarily like so it's getting them engaged. It's just like a lot of artists here have shared
Alright, so I know that's a very vague topic, as are the rest of the topics we have coming up, but I think it's cool just to get talking about things and exchanging ideas and stuff. So if you guys want to, I don't know, talk about maybe a few of those
just really quickly.
Cool points.
I think we kind of just talked more about the idea of a lot of art, everything just kind of just comes out, right? So like the album comes out and it's every single platform has it in their own way. And fans are out here saying that they want more exposure and more like relevance with their artists and more touch points, but nobody really feels special, even though the bands are trying to make them feel special. So we were just sort of thinking if they're a little more creative about how they maybe put out their music, or so if it's not just on iTunes, or it's always on iTunes, then it's on YouTube, then it's on SoundCloud, and people are getting it for free, and some people are buying it. What if there's a way to get almost, what do we say, like levels, right? Like you're a really cool fan, so you're gonna get access to maybe some exclusive stuff.
not a deluxe version that everyone will go buy on iTunes, because that just is a way for them to make more money on that download. But what if the deluxe version is really for super fans? And those super fans will pay for it, but maybe they don't do it on iTunes, or they don't do it on SoundCloud, they do it on a whole new platform, or they do it on Bandcamp, or whatever that is. That's sort of the things that we were talking about.
Cool. I want to go.
Yes. I'd say I think we've kind of focused on is that different bands might have different goals. Like, do you want ticket sales? Do you want downloads? Do you want merch sales or whatever? So I might lead into what are the right kinds of promotion for that type of artist, as well as making sure they know who is their audience. That's kind of where we end up. And we get much further than that.
We really started touching upon like engagement and interactivity between artists and their fan base, and kind of taking fans along the journey. Like you talked about, like deluxe edition or exclusive kind of content or experiences that fans can have. I mean, platforms like Pledge Music are giving, combining crowdsourcing and direct-to-fan funding to take that, follow us on this journey through the songwriting process and in the studio, and releasing this and so forth. That and our other interesting takeaway was like just continually mixing it up. Anything's going to become redundant for an artist or their fan base if you're like, if you're just running, cover song contests all the time, or if you're just constantly putting out acoustic YouTube videos. I mean, like, it's going to get old. So, as the artist grows or as the fan base gets stagnant, being able to adjust that and continue on.
Cool. Yeah, so we talked really about two different sides of the spectrum, like the independent artist and one that has resources with the label, has a portfolio of different artists. So on the independent side, really it's fundamental marketing, I guess, this day and age, and that how do you turn the people that love you right now into your best marketers? That's really what it comes down to. So if you play your first show and there are people there, and it's important to try to figure out which are the ones that love you right then and there. How do you capture their identity? How do you capture something such as like an email, something where you can keep a connection? Because if you can keep that connection with them, you can deliver more content to them. They're going to love you more, and then they're going to continually tell more and more people about you. So it's a process around that. So we talked about exclusive content. Like how can you deliver something exclusive to people that are at that show right now, where that in return they can give you something like an email address. Really, that's the currency you're looking for. You're looking for that identity. So on the other side of the spectrum, we're talking about companies that have a portfolio of artists. How do you, so really in that end, and when dealing with promotion, how do you take the ones that are successful? It's kind of like a trend. How do you take the ones that are successful to help you figure out what's going to be the new artists that you bring on board? Because some you're going to have that are successful, some are not. So really, you have that information because it's basically like a portfolio to really help you determine which would be the next artist you would sign, and hopefully that will just kind of, promote itself in a way.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Things that
We got a little sidetracked, but I would say that I think depending upon, you have to look at it as a brand when you're promoting yourself, whether you're new or old, it's still a brand that you're getting out there. I think the biggest difference is that can you connect with your audience member in a way that really allows the audience to connect with you in a way that they can understand you. And so I think that's actually something that's a bit convoluted, is when you get into it, what separates you from the artist and what separates you from a person, and who is it that you want your audience to see. So I think that that's actually something that I think a lot of artists, old and new, struggle with.
Yeah. I guess our group real quick. What we talked about is that fans will basically build the buzz for your artistry or whatever. If you have good quality music, you're gonna eventually get to where you want to be. Also, touring endlessly, you have to push your product, your brand, get yourself out there. Convergence, crossover within the different industries like food, fashion, having a brand that kind of dips into all those different industries and cross promotion. That's always a good way to build your band or your brand. Also, we have here targeting the analytics of the different interests of the fans. So find out what they like and put it on the social media. Do whatever you got to do. What else? Yeah. So that's basically what we had. Another thing I was gonna say is like it always works better for artists when they're transparent. You know, like when they show what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, or when they go to the studio and make a track, or they put it on their social media instead of having someone who runs their stuff. I feel like it always builds that brand more organically and gets more fans that way. So
yeah. Well, it's kind of funny if you look at all of these topics. It's sort of like the root of marketing and business development, just for artists in particular. I read a really interesting article today about marketing on social media if you're an artist, and it really spans, I think, to all brands and companies in general. And it's sort of like a really easy thing to do, but it was called Don't Spam. So we do this a lot with our company, and we should probably move out of it, but we only post content about our company, what we're doing, what we have coming up, great exciting things that's happening with us. But the best brand that I've seen, and this is especially relevant in Instagram, where a lot of companies will rarely have their product in it, they become more of a lifestyle brand. And I think that's a really great way to, whatever platform you're on, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr or YouTube, is having content that's not associated to your company and your brand, that just brings a casual viewer in and gets them interested in you as a person or as a company, not as a corporate giant just coming down your throats, pretty much. So that was good. I mean, I know it's a really super vague topic, but let's move on to this next one here. We live in Austin.
We didn't get to share.
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw you.
Well, we had a couple that were up there too.
Sure.
We talked about the corporate sponsorship side, and also thought it could be cool for some of these artists to align themselves with charitable missions. Like my example was Gary Clark Jr. in Austin, underground guy, probably had Ham support him at some point in time. Could align himself with Ham and really benefit both the charity and his brand because he would be kind of their face. I think it'd be cool for, what was his name, Scott, who presented his kind of Tom's shoes for the music industry, but finding ways to give back within their, finding ways to give back within their means. And then, what was the other one?
We talked a lot about the importance of face-to-face interaction with the artist and their fans. So getting back to the roots of post-show, going to your merch table and really interacting with the fan. I was telling him about an instance where I saw that band X-Hex, and after the show I had a really great conversation with the bassist, and it made me really want to go look at their back catalog and check out other stuff. So.
Absolutely.
Big artists can do documentaries telling you why they wrote stuff and all that and publish it, but smaller band can still tell you I feel like when you know their story, it's for instance, we did an interview this past week of a guy I've known for a decade, and even after hearing him talk about why he created his music and listening to it afterwards, it was I went home and just binged on their music because now it had a personal kind of emotional connection to it, which I think the digital's always got to be there, but we got to have a human element, they're people too, you know what I mean? We got to, I think when you engage with your fans, bring them backstage with you or go talk to them after the shows, like he said at the merch table, I think it goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. I worked at the Parish downtown for a year, and when bands came out after the show to their merch tables, I think they probably sold 10 times more merch than they would have otherwise, just being in the green room, being cool and smoking weed and stuff. So artists definitely need to build a human connection. I think that's really helpful. I did finish spelling that, but that's okay. So the next topic is concerts. We live in a concert city, a live music capital of a world, and it's one of the biggest revenue streams for artists. They go on tour, they go do a show, they either get maybe a percentage of alcohol sales or they get a percentage of the door. Sometimes they actually have to pay to play, which sucks, but it's a reality. The way they make their money back often is through merch, and digital sales, aren't really offering a lot these days. So I guess, and this is another tough question, it's sort of vague, but what are some ways maybe to bring more fans into shows, and what are ways to make venues more money? Because when you make a venue more money, they're going to be more likely to bring in more artists. So I guess that'll be kind of our big topic for the next 5 or 7 minutes, and go on ahead, turn the music on.
Or they're just a place like
It's an local band and basically listens to music.
One day you have a band that says, we're going to do a tour. That's kind of taking place out of
and now they're
and maybe you even have interactive things along the way. So you have like street team
Hey guys.
Oh, that's what you do. 1 hour.
It is straight like this.
Yeah. Cool. Well, y'all want to go first? Concert?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so our thing is kind of funny, but we talked about how annoying it is to show up to a concert and have no idea when the headliner's going on. And I'm sure if we pulled the crowd, everyone's been at least once. You're like, God, I have to wait there an hour and a half or whatever it is. And so we were saying, wouldn't it be? Oh, and then in addition to that, weekday shows, how annoying it is that they still end at 12:30 or 1 in the morning. Seemed kind of unnecessary because most people are going to work or school the next day. So we said, wouldn't it be interested if a concert venue promotes the fact that they will close earlier? Like, you know that if you go to the show, like weeknights, not like weekends. And say that, you know, you'll be, for sure, you're guaranteed to be out of here.
We thought we had a good night. We wanted to put that.
Yeah, you can
the next day,
You know, they call it hearing aid. You realize that the reasoning is it has to be alcohol. So they want people to show up early to buy more booze, and then they stay later.
But I would drink more if it was early than if it's later.
Open the doors earlier and just have happy hour. So open the doors at 6, and from 6 to 7:30, it's happy hour, music happy hour.
Old people Austin app.
We were asking, is it old people like Poland here? I mean, you're quite young. If you have an 8 a.m. show or 8 a.m. class next morning.
I stayed up until 3 on the.
Yeah, we all did that. Why does it have to start at 11?
How about 5 years ago, there was actually a movement inside of Austin that said, hey, yeah, we're going to start doing all the shows earlier so we can go see them, and it lasted about 6 months.
Really?
Everyone said they were going to do it, but nobody did it.
Well, yeah, you'd also have to be doing it consistently at all the venues.
You just don't want you to know what time they're coming on. I want you to
come
when the doors are open. That's the hardest part is getting them to agree to.
But so we're saying give us a reason to go early, let alone if it's opening bands, because that's the other thing we got into. Like nobody knows what the opening bands normally are.
Yeah, that's right. You can go stand at the front of the stage for 2 hours. Wait.
Just wait.
While your mom's sitting waiting. That was my teenager experience.
Okay, so first of all, I'm in my 20s and I would go to the old person concert. It was like,
it doesn't have to be 7 p.m.
All right, so we talked about, which we brought up on the last one, but an exclusive content idea for artists to say you're going to get to hear an acoustic version of this song at the show, or a mashup with another artist, or a guest feature, or a new song, or an update on my new album, to incentivize people to come, which helps the venue drive sales. We also talked about collaboration with other artists. Jill was bringing up, one show she went to where it's like, I went because it's the best lineup. Like this collaboration of multiple artists being here, like didn't happen anywhere else. So I wanted to go see that, and then promoting that to drive sales. The artists getting involved in brand promotion to some extent, like, hey guys, come see me at this venue. It's going to be the best venue for me playing this particular song, or they have the best tacos or margarita or whatever in Austin, and you guys have to come check it out. So then people are going to want to also buy something in particular that venue has to offer. And then also the venue being right for the artist, and the artist demonstrating to the venue that this is the right place for us. Like, we normally have this many people come out to our show, so we can guarantee you this many people are probably going to show up. And then having incremental steps for artists too. So this is your first time at the venue. We get 100 people usually. We'll have you come in on a weekday, like that was your idea. We'll have you come in on a Tuesday instead. And if you have a really good turnout, by the next time we'll have you on a Thursday or a Friday, and we can kind of work your way up over time.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how booking works now. You play a Tuesday or Wednesday night, or you play as an opening act for a bigger band, and then just slowly move up the ranks with each venue as you come through each tour circuit. Yeah. So that's absolutely right. Anthony, what do y'all got?
We got way off topic.
What else? We talked about this idea, Jukla? Is that what it's called?
Jukli, yeah.
Jukli.
This was the first thing that came to mind when I.
Are they live in Austin yet?
I don't think quite yet. They're
just New York.
New York, but they are expanding to LA and San Francisco and Austin's the next on that list. But what they are is kind of like a membership card for concerts, and I think there's a threshold of not concerts above $10 or something too, but really addressing the question of how do you get more listeners in the door. It's offering this like membership. If you're a member of Jubilee, $12 a month, you can walk into so many shows and such venues, and obviously not big road shows, but like the venues are all about it because it brings more people to drink. It doesn't necessarily shake out for artists if they're only getting paid on ticket sales. If you went to 12 concerts in a month, it'd be $1 per one of those concerts for your membership that actually gets allocated, if even that. So, there's an incentive there, but for bands facing the challenge of I just need to be in front of more people, that's certainly a pretty good solution. Yeah, interesting proposition. Other than that, I don't know that we even talked about concerts.
Well, we can all pool our funds and invest in Jubilee. There we go. Free memberships. That'd be awesome.
There you go. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm old, but if there's an artist playing that I really like, I don't care how early I have to get up in the morning. I'll just lose the sleep. And to me, it's worth it. But my friends are lame, so I go by myself. I still take the kids to school in the morning. But our idea is an app called, whatever. So our idea is an app that would stream all the artists that are playing in a particular city that day. So you could partner with all the venues in Austin, playinginaustin.com. And you would stream music by everybody that's playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And so as fans, we could listen to that, figure out who's playing in town, say, oh, I really like this artist, I really like this band. And if you don't know when they're coming to town, you'll see it on the app and you listen to it. Maybe that would be more likely to get people to go out and check out the bands locally. There was more to it, but I heard that.
No.
Yes, we'll go. I don't know, we got notes here. Like venues tapping into the history of their venue, like showcase new artists. Like if someone gets on stage, it's like, oh, look at this person on the wall. Like this used to be nobody, and encourage the artist to like want to work harder and build up their fan base, stuff like that. Creating a sense of community with the artists and fans in your particular individual venue. Let's see here. Eunice was talking about how like he went to go see Dr. Dre and like that's when he first saw A$AP Rocky and he would have never known about A$AP Rocky. Or Dre, okay, yeah. Whatever. He saw A$AP Rocky and that's when he was like, wow, I would have never known about him if it would have been for that concert. So like, bringing up and coming artists into your tour. And
I was basically talking about how an up and coming artist, it's very beneficial for them to take a pay cut on tour in order to have themselves seen opening for new guys.
And then also encouraging fans that come to see you to tip well and like buy the merch and food, just while you're performing on stage, like, buy drinks and all that stuff. And then social media, obviously, if you're putting on a show, post what you're doing on social media.
And then one more thing. So we were talking about how it's beneficial for the venue and also beneficial for the artist to try to find places where they know that they're going to be able to connect with the audience. So something like a residency is a good idea, where you're playing somewhere weekly for a month or, however long, and then moving over somewhere else and playing there for a month or, and so from that perspective, the venue gets an artist that their patrons are able to connect with, and then the artist gets a venue that they're also able to connect with the patrons that frequent that venue as well, and then how venues often are able to, or they have just as much of an obligation to cultivate the kind of music that they are known for, bringing into their space as the artists are for knowing where to go to market. So it's like, I've been here for a month, but I know that KUTX plays music that I like, and I'm going to go to KUTX, and even if I don't know who's playing at the time, I know that generally they're curating something that I like. If I find a venue like that, I may go there every Tuesday, and if they rotate that, roster of artists, then I'm going to know that I like them. And then if the artists are asking people to buy things, then the venue's generally pretty favorable for that.
Yeah. Cool.
Right, so we discussed two scenarios. One of them involved supporting potential attendees to a concert through virtual reality, which is apparently something that already exists.
So there is a company that, from my understanding, is already doing kind of an Oculus Rift, if anyone's familiar with that. So that they're actually on stage with the musicians, or that they'll be in the crowd with the fans. And to that point, I don't know the name of the company, or if this is something actually dreamed up.
It's a pretty sweet dream.
But from my understanding is that there is actually a company doing virtual reality of sorts.
Right, so that was one scenario, and the other one involved more just of a local show with a not full venue, and then it doesn't have to be just an exchange of, well, you play, we get money through tickets and alcohol, but also an exchange of service. And like Ken was saying earlier, yeah, bands are a brand, but venues are also a brand, and that can build into some sort of relationship, like that team was saying. Sorry, you don't have a team name, so. But yeah, it's sort of, maybe just through social networks in the beginning. But yes, you post X number of ads or posts regarding your show here, and so will we. That kind of service. So.
Okay, so we talked about the idea of, if you're a bigger band, you can do like a binge tour where, say you come to Austin and over the course of 3 days you play 6 to 8 different venues, and it's like this big interactive experience where it incorporates social media marketing, street teams and whatnot. And this band, say they have a big catalog like Radiohead, they play a different album maybe at each venue for each show. They play just straight through the album, and say if you're a fan and you make it to every single one of the shows in that weekend or in a certain time span, you win a meet and greet with the band or some merch or something like that. So it's this big kind of whole like hullabaloo over this band for one weekend in town. And they take that model, and it's like a fly-in date. They do 1 weekend here, they have a week or 2 off, and then they go to LA and do it, and then New York or Chicago or something.
That'd be pretty cool.
So like a micro tour.
That'd be awesome. Well, yeah, all those ideas sound great. I really like the just going to a day and seeing all the artists that are playing maybe in Austin in one night, because I know personally I'm much more likely to go see a show if I start getting into someone's music. And then obviously co-promotion with venues and artists. I feel like most venues in Austin do a pretty poor job at promoting their shows. There's some companies like 2512 that try to put as much content up as they can. But artists as well. I mean, I think a lot of artists will do shout outs on Twitter and Facebook, but I don't know who y'all talked about that, but getting more into further beyond, we're playing at this venue at this time, getting into maybe the acoustics of the venue and I don't know, bringing out some cooler details about the show versus just the time and the place. And definitely the old people Austin have, please. Okay, well there's a couple more topics, but we don't really have that much time left, so if y'all want to just get up and chat with each other, and I don't think there's any beer left, I'm sorry, but plenty of water, hydrate for your drive home. Yeah, thanks for coming out tonight, guys.
I wanted to make an announcement. There's
sorry, any announcements, please? Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a music community event tomorrow at Emo's. It's the first one that's happening. I think Austin Music Foundation is putting on.
Yeah.
And so it's music organizations, nonprofits that support musicians, but it's also supposed to be for music industry professionals. That's from 7 to 9 at Emo's.
Cool. And then also to drill it down, we have the happy hour meetup during South by. It's March 18th, and Andy from The Drop will be presenting there. Cameron from Jamfeed will be presenting there. And Anthony Erickson from Eye and Sky Collective. And what's that, Mike?
There's also the the South by Music Hackathon registration just opened up. So if you're gonna apply for that, do that, and then take a break and come to the happy hour because I think it's like right when it's happening. So just FYI for anybody who wants to.
And on a totally different topic, Mario Hernandez in the back there is starting an ed tech company, and he's looking for teachers to do some research on some of his ideas. So if you have some teachers, holler at him and get him some test subjects. Cool. All right. Thanks again for coming out.
Thank you.